Man. Can't ball in a life, man. Go on with it, go on with it. Do us. So we are coming with a force. Yeah. Blessing the reap and we coursing on.
What's up, y'all? It's your girl Shay, and we are not in our normal space. I'm actually chilling in my office. I have this big comfy couch behind me. So I want to talk to y'all about this interview with Sanya Richards-Ross from the Real Housewives of Atlanta that she recently did with Carlos King. Now, normally we don't talk about the boring people, but she had a lot to say in this interview that I feel like needs to be discussed. Carlos asked Sanya a series of questions that pertain to her relationship with Marlo and Kandi, and basically about her position on the show. He also asked her about Monyetta, and some of the other ladies on the cast as well. So I thought it was quite interesting, her perspective. You know, Sanya, as we've all kind of pulled from that, is very flip-flop-ish. Okay, I don't know, she may have went to the Olympics for running, but it seems like homegirl went there and did some gymnastics too, because the somersaults of how she acts, it's not given. Okay, so the first thing they talked about was when Courtney was saying some not so flattering things about Kandi to Marlo and Sanya, and how did she feel about Kandi basically saying, so okay, you telling me what they said, so what you say? Did you defend me? And she talks about being very caught off guard because she wasn't expecting Kandi to have that type of reaction. Here's the thing. You have Courtney, somebody that you don't know, sitting up here talking about Kandi. Mind you, you just went on a whole Disney World trip with this lady. Y'all just talked about it. Is Marlo taking you on trips? I don't think so. I don't think so. The only thing that you doing is saddling up and riding around under Marlo's butthole. And we're sick and tired of seeing that. Like, it's team entirely too much. Now, am I giving the position that everybody should kiss Kandi's tail? No, I'm not saying that. I feel like on these types of shows, everybody on the show should be able to coexist in a manner where everybody can at least get along. But when you have somebody that's acting as neurotic as Marlo is, you have to, there's a point of where moral compass has to come into play, where you have to say, you know what? This a look cray-cray. I don't think I'm rocking with this here. Because there's a time, we talked about it last night on our panel. When you have friends, right? It should be okay for you to tell your friends that they tripping. Saying, when you gonna tell Marlo that she tripping? Because in that moment, Kandi was looking for you to say that Courtney was tripping, instead of sitting there cackling and yucking it up with Courtney while she was talking trash about her, saying that she's ghetto. She brings the ghetto out to whatever, gathering Courtney was having at the time, or her restaurant. I don't know, whatever Courtney's business is or what have you. She is talking about Kandi bringing ghetto people around from her doing a post. First of all, Courtney should have been happy that Kandi did a post, because homegirl Kandi has millions of followers. So that means that she gave you free outreach. If anything, Kandi should be sending you a bill for the advertisement, since you want to hate. Okay. So moving on, she proceeds to say she was surprised that Kandi was upset. She was shocked that Courtney was calling her ghetto, but she told her she was going to tell Kandi what she was saying. And Sanya says she was shocked because of all of these are all fairly new friendships to her, because this is only her second season, right? And she didn't think that Kandi took it too heavy after they had the conversation, but was nevertheless surprised that she expected her to be like, now what to defend her. Girl, I don't know what type of friends you got, but if I'm in a room full of people talking trash about you, I'm here's the first thing. I'm no longer going to be in that room, because my thing is, along with being able to be cordial with other people, which we're going to talk about this in another question that she answered, you should be able to, again, be cordial with people and also be able to check them, because there is no way that I'm going to sit around and listen with my pinky in the air while somebody is talking and trashing one of my friends. That's not going down. It's not going down. You sat there simply to go back and be a reporter. That's it, and that's all. But moving on. So Carlos talks about the incident happening 3 years ago with Marlo's nephew, and how it was sort of weird that Marlo was bringing it up now, though she's saying restaurant, the situation at the restaurant of all of the criminal activity, we will say, or the crime triggered it, her knowing that. Here's one thing that I want to say about this whole situation with Marlo before I say what I feel about Sanya's response. Marlo continues to talk about Kandi should have catered the event. Kandi should have sent some flowers. What did you do when her mother-in-law passed away? Did you send some flowers when her cousin that is running both of her restaurants, and he's the chef basically at Blaze, and I thought he was the chef at OLG as well. Did you send Kandi some flowers when you found out that he got hurt? Did you do that? Because everybody saying is going to talk about how Marlo feels a certain way because she does all these things when something happens with other people, how caring Marlo is and how sweet she is. And, how when Sanya had COVID, Marlo sent her flowers and medicine to her doorstep. That, let me tell you something, that's called manipulation. People that, now I'm not saying that to say that Marlo didn't do that genuinely out of kindness of her heart, but people that want somebody to do exactly what they do to them, that's called manipulation. If you're not doing something strictly out of the kindness of your heart, because that's what you do, that's your love language, to give people gifts and do all of this stuff, that doesn't mean that you have to expect that from somebody else, especially somebody else that you don't really have a deep relationship with. And we're going to talk about deepened relationships right here with Sanya's response, okay? So Sanya says, after Carlos asked her, it seemed kind of weird that now she's bringing it up 3 years later. Sanya says it's tricky because you can't tell someone how to feel because somebody, was unalived, okay? And Marlo feels like Kandi brushes past big and small issues. She doesn't agree with the way Marlo goes about things all the time, but she does validate her feelings, okay? And she thinks Marlo values friendships. Marlo, they don't really necessarily value friendships the same way, okay? Marlo is very giving. She sent, again, I talked about her sending Sanya meds and teddy bears when she had the C-19. And when she was talking to Kandi about how Marlo basically shows her appreciation to people, Kandi said that's just not like her. That's not something that she would do. And she understood why Kandi got upset with Marlo talking about her businesses and putting it on Front Street, but she wishes the ladies could move forward because it makes it harder for the group to navigate. Now, let me say this. Let's say one of Marlo's nephews decides to ride on down and get it with Ross to Texas, right? Well, whatever he doing down there. They go down there, they're driving the limousines, they're working for your business. They decide to quit, and something unfortunate happens to one of her nephews, okay? Does Marlo now expect for you to pay for the funeral and cater it and send some flowers? Does that make any sense? When one of her nephews, they're no longer working for you. They drove the car around for a couple of months and decided, you know what? Get somebody else to do it. I don't want to do it no more. Now, what is your perspective? Because now it's your business. You see what I'm saying? It's very interesting to me that people can't see other people's perspectives until it happens to them. Real crazy to me. And I find it very hard that nobody can check Marlo. Nobody can tell Marlo, you know what, sis, this is a little crazy. Why are you talking about, why didn't you talk to us about this years ago? And mind you, why isn't everybody else being held to this standard that Kandi is being held to? Why didn't you didn't tell anybody else about your nephew being unalived? You didn't care about it enough, so much that you didn't even talk about it on the show for the last 2 years. Not even a peep. But now you want to bring it up 3 years later because you're so triggered by what happened to Kandi's cousin. And now you thinking about your nephew. Are you gonna go get the cousin a gold sling for his arm for where he got hit? Huh? What you gonna do for her cousin that obviously he's still here and still hurting? Are you gonna go and support Kandi and support him? The thing is, the reality is, somebody that I'm not cool with and I ain't really fooling with like that, don't expect nothing from me. Don't do that. Because now, I'm going to be honest with y'all. I'm going to be very frank. Marlo is taking away from what happened to her nephew by being so selfish and using him as a storyline. We ain't even know Marlo had this nephew. Where's his mama? Why you ain't bring his mother on the show to talk about how upset you were over him being unalived? You brought your sister on here crying crocodile tears, but she was just laughing right before she started crying. You brought her on there. Where's his mother? Why you ain't bringing the family, his mama, on the show to talk about how upset she is over it? All these family members that you're saying are so upset over Kandi, but yet your mother was cackling with her gums and so excited when she saw Kandi. That was just last year. So if people are so upset by Kandi not paying for things for the funeral, not upset that maybe she didn't come to the funeral or, whatever, but that she didn't pay for things. Why is it always with money? Because also, you think you're slick. We noticed when you were in that altercation with Kandi, you got your hands behind your back because you wanted your dreams to come true. You wanted Kandi to do something to you so that you can get some money. It's always a scam for you. It's like you so sweet, but then you also so slick. I can't be bothered with nobody like that. And Sanya, for you to listen, let's just go ahead and call a thing a thing. Sanya's picker is off. It is. You're not on the show being even keel. You're not. You've picked a side. And if you the way that she was talking in this whole interview is as if she would like to see more people just having interactions with everybody on the cast. But that's not even what you're doing. You over here ride or die with Marlo through her foolishness. Make it make sense. So moving on, the next question he asked Sanya if she understood Monyetta's presence on the show. And what does she think about Monyetta? First of all, Carlos, you being very, very shady because you just had Monyetta on your show and then you were just praising her and talking about how nice she is and how much you love her because you love everybody at this point. I don't really know what is real in relationship world with Carlos at this point because he loved everybody, but then and he's shading them in another interview with somebody else. I can't keep up. So he's telling Monyetta how, he thinks that she should have a peach. Like she should be a housewife because she embodies everything that a housewife is. And that, she's such a sweet person and, she could be the Cynthia Bailey of the show, right? But then he's looking all shady in this interview asking Sanya, so what you think about Monyetta? Basically trying to get her to say that she don't think that Monyetta should be on the show. I'm like, Carlos, you full of shish. That's what you are. Okay. So Sanya says she does understand Monyetta's presence on the show, but then she begins to laugh and kind of evade the question and she falls back in the chair. And then she's like, oh yeah, you got my makeup staff over here falling back in the chair too. And they all laughing and yucking it up. I'm like, what's so damn funny? what the hell you think about Monyetta being on the show? I mean, answer the damn question. I don't know why you falling out and doing all this. You doing too many gymnastics. What did you get your gold medal for? It's damn sure not answering questions. Okay. So she fumbles around the question at first and then says she loves Monyetta. Monyetta is a wonderful person, but it's been tricky for her to navigate the show because she loves Kandi and her relationship is so significant to her. She can't step out of that and navigate around that alliance. Interesting. She didn't understand how Monyetta felt she was going to lose her friend when she was talking to Monyetta. However, to Marlo. However, she says Monyetta brings a lot more later on in the season. So, girl, here's the thing. Monyetta is called a real friend. What makes so for me to have a better presence on the show, first of all, I don't think that Monyetta is in Kandi's shadow by any stretch of the word. I just think that Monyetta genuinely is a person that doesn't really like a whole lot of drama. She's not that girl that's going to be sitting up here orchestrating BS. She's going to try to be the peacemaker. She's just being herself. The shows are based around women that are financially stable. It's giving us a look behind the Golden Gate. I want to see people that are affluent, rich, have more money than me. I want to know what that life look like. I don't want to see people on this show acting a damn fool. Now, is a little bit of drama here and there entertaining? Yes, it's cool. But even Carlos said, and Sanya says, people always say, because he asked her, how does she feel about people saying that she's boring? She said, well, people don't know what they want. These people are so fickle. 1 minute they want somebody that is, affluent, married, and, good, prosperous. But then they want to call you boring. Then the next minute, no, saying you haven't shown how affluent you are. I mean, you spent $100,000 on a party, but that's about it. That don't mean that you got a whole bunch of money. But I mean, let's just say you fit the script, you fit the bill. But you talking about Monyetta being in Kandi's ass and can't get out of it. But what the hell do you think you doing with Marlo? So by you being in her ass, you've lost all credibility because you're not correcting her. If she really is your friend, like you're saying you're her friend, you should be able to say, Marlo, you doing too much, sis. This is team too much. Let's try to find you something else to talk about because you going back and forth with Kandi, this ain't the move, sis. Not going back and forth with her about something like this. This doesn't make any sense. Okay. So then moving on. Carlos comes out and says that she thinks that Monyetta is in Kandi's shadow. And Sanya says yes. And she feels like she's such a good friend and loyal. She's stuck in her shadow. So you're not loyal to your friends, Sanya? Clearly you're not. Because you've been the biggest flip-flopper since 99. Okay? You don't know where you want to go. You jumping hurdles every episode and not looking back. It's really sad to me that this girl doesn't see the forest for the trees. It's crazy. It really is crazy. So moving on, he asks her thoughts on Ralph and Drew's relationship, and she says, did she see the signs of their relationship moving in the current direction that it's in? And Sanya says it caught her off guard, and this is something she's never talked about. But she says 2 weeks prior to the divorce announcement, wait a minute, that's not right here. So she's going to talk about something that she never talked about in the next two questions. I'll tell y'all. But she says 2 weeks prior to the divorce announcement, they were at Ralph's 40th birthday party and they were having a good old time. Drew was dancing on him. They were it was a really good time. So she never really saw it happening. And she said, even though they've always been really dramatic as a couple, Ralph and Drew, she never really saw this coming. She always thought that they were a great couple. So Carlos asked, has she spoken to Drew? And she says, yes, she's been texting her and checking in on her. But then Drew kind of flipped the script. She was like, I don't know if Drew values our relationship according to what's going on the show, because we'll not be filming and then we cool, but then when we go back to film and now she mad at me again. She said she just did some tweet the other day dissing me and I thought that we were cool. I thought everything was, copacetic. So she's like, yeah, I just kind of put her on pause again because, she is, I don't know if this is actress Drew or what. So then Carlos asked, does she feel like Drew is acting on the show or being herself? And Sanya says she feels like Drew is acting sometimes. And then she goes into talking about something she's never talked about. She says when she first met Ralph and Drew, Ralph said they would be in a really good space and then Drew would go off and do something crazy. So it shouldn't have surprised her that Drew did that to her in season 1. Here's the thing, you can't measure what Ralph is saying because Ralph, in my opinion, is a habitual liar. Okay, Ralph liked to tell lies, so that could be what's taking Drew over the deep end. Who knows? Is Drew a gaslighter? Yes. I think that Drew is very dramatic. You never know when Drew is, being her true self or when she's doing the most because this whole oh, I don't say that because I'm from Chicago. Everything is because she from Chicago. Girl, only thing that you might do because you from Chicago is eat a deep dish pizza. All this other stuff that you talking about, it's tied and delayed, okay? Because it don't make no sense, okay? So moving on, she says she doesn't really think Drew knows when she goes into actress mode. It's weird. They will be cool off camera, then on camera, she's acting again. It's hard for her to figure out how to move with Drew because of how she acts. So then, hold on, I think I'm skipping ahead, y'all. Carlos asks, what is bringing about the lack of cohesion in the group? And Sanya says this season, she really thought that they were going to create more of a sisterhood. She said it's interesting because when Marlo and Kenya are seeming to have a problem, I feel like my head is like not showing y'all. Hold on, let me adjust this a little bit. Okay, no. She says that when Marlo and Kenya are not on the same page, it's like they can still kind of move forward. But now that it's kind of like Kandi and Marlo are not on the same page, it's really different. So then that brings in Kandi and Kenya not being on the same page with Marlo. So it just makes it a lot tougher for the group to navigate around that. And she says, but Kandi is pretty, level-headed where you can talk to her, they can work things out and move forward. But Marlo she don't know how that's going to work out. But I'm just like, but you're not admitting that Marlo is the one that's bringing about all the drama. Why can't you just say that your friend is wrong? I don't understand it. Like Marlo, you're not listening to yourself. Marlo is the common denominator. Marlo done had a problem with Portia on the show. Marlo done had a problem with Nene on the show. Marlo done had a problem with Kenya on the show. Now she got a problem with Kandi. These are all people that she was formerly friends with. Hell, Marlo had a problem with damn Shay on the show too. Doing a thing in Africa. But now they the best of friends. Girl, it's just a matter of time before she got a problem with you too. She might be over there talking about, yeah, Sanya got all them people up in her damn house and she don't know what to do with it. Child, y'all are you're just a mess, Sanya. This girl is not your friend. Just because she sent you a teddy bear and some medicine, that don't mean she your friend, sis. Let me see what y'all saying in these comments. Oh, yeah, okay. Uh-oh. Hold on, y'all. Let me get here. Flora Mercury says, hey, what's up, Flora Mercury? Michelle says, hey, Shay Renee, how are you? I'm doing good, Michelle. How you bees? Flora Mercury says, Sanya is the most non-Jamaican person I've seen on TV because Jamaicans in reality doesn't do flip-flop with anyone. Child, she is somersaulting up in here. What's up, Jill George? My girl is here. Jill George says, hey, Shay, what up, Jill? Mishi Love says, if it was from the heart, we would never have known about the flowers and medicine sent to the doorstep. Period. Now, I will say, I don't think that Marlo said that she sent it. Sanya was saying that Marlo sent it. So she's just basically talking about what has happened to her. So Marlo never said that she sent the stuff when she had the C19. But nevertheless, I feel like if it's from the heart, you don't expect that from somebody else, because somebody else, people here, let's just call a thing. Everybody is not going to do the same things for you that you do for them. That's why the 5 love languages exist. You got to understand what your love language is and be able to love that person in their love language. That's one thing. Me and my husband, when we were going to therapy, when we were like about our 7th year of marriage, we needed therapy. So we learned that I'm trying to make him do for me what I was doing for him what I wanted him to do for me. And he was doing the same thing. It doesn't work when you try to do that. You have to learn what that person's love language is and love them in the way that they need to be loved. Not try to throw it in their face that, hey, this is what I want you to do. See, I'm doing it for you. No. And you can't expect, here's the situation. She can't expect that from Kandi. Y'all are not cool. And even though this happened at a time when y'all were cool, you have to open up your mouth and communicate what you really want. Sanya's beef with Drew is so unclear. Drew never did anything to Sanya, child. Sanya, it's always everybody else's fault. Maybe that's why she friends with Marlo, because they got the same tripped up mentality. PSR 076 says, I respect Sanya's accomplishments in the Olympics, but I think she's a follower. Oh, and I agree. Katrina Johnson says, Monyetta said on Speak On It, she's on board, so she doesn't want to show her. Right, exact. She's on boards, so she don't want to. Yeah, because people got things to lose. Like Marlo constantly talks about, all Kandi want to do is show her businesses on the show. First of all, that's what you should be doing when you're on platforms like this. And Kandi has carried the show for so long, she can do whatever she wants. What have you done on the show to really solidify your place on the show? What have you done? And when you are dealing with people where this show is really the biggest thing that they have going on, that's a problem, because you will do anything to stay on this platform at the expense of others. And that's what Marlo is doing with Kandi. Lee Pepper says, hey, everyone. What's up, Lee Pepper? Sheila Wright says, good evening, Shay and friends. What up, Sheila Wright? 41 Fit says, what's up, 41 and Fit? Hey, Shay and chat, only 20 likes, 25 in the chat. Come on, y'all. Let's get the mother 4 likes on. Get the mother 5 likes on. Okay, let's do it. Let's go. All right. So Carlos asks, what is bringing about the lack of cohesion in the group? No, we already talked about that. Carlos asks if joining the show was everything she imagined. And Sanya says, I've done everything to prepare for Olympic medals, but nothing compared me for the Real Housewives of Atlanta. And she says 9 times out of 10, she's caught off guard. She doesn't know what she imagined this was going to be. So then Carlos asks, does it hurt her feelings when people call her boring? And she says no. This is when she says the fans are fickle. Like, one minute they want positive relationships and businesses, then they don't. They're fickle. It's a constant way to have what isn't there. She learned from sports to quiet the noise, and thank God the fans don't cast the show. Child, listen, you ain't gonna be on the show, and it ain't gonna be the view. Listen, the viewers do pick the people on the show, because if the viewers are complaining about somebody so much, then you're gonna be gone. You're gonna be gone. Because then the viewers are the ones that are watching the show, and viewership is what gets you paid. So if people are not watching the show because they tired of the way somebody acting, then you damn right you're gonna get canned, and it ain't gonna be a canned peach. You're gonna be canned out somewhere in the trash. Okay, moving on. Carlos gives her advice and says her personal story is strong, but he suggests she needs to have her mom on more. Carlos, let me stop you right here. No, the fuck she don't. You are the one that want to perpetuate these dumbass mama ghetto stories on Love and Marriage Huntsville, where you got Tisha's mama. Now you want to bring Stormy's mama on to be messy. Why you want everybody to bring their mama? This is not mama and daughter Housewives of Atlanta. This is Real Housewives of Atlanta, not Real Housewives of Atlanta and their mamas. We don't need that. Now, yes, was Mama Joyce, all that stuff that happened with Kandi, did that bring about, some form of entertainment? Yeah, but at some point, people got tired of that shit. So that's why Mama Joyce ain't on the damn screen no more. Kandi know what she doing. She's not going to be filming with her mother all the time because her mother is disrespectful. But at least Kandi knows, I got to put my mama on pause. Some of these people use their mothers to be messy. And that's what Carlos wants people to do. So, Sanya, I'm going to go ahead and tell you right now, your mother looked like she got a little bit of messy up in her. Don't bring your mother on this damn show in a more prominent light. Let your mother do just what she doing in the capacity that she's doing it in right now. The show ain't about you and your mama. It's about you and your husband and your family. Is your mother an aspect of your story? Absolutely. And your mother is amazing. She's gorgeous. She's amazing. She's your manager. She's doing big things. But I don't want to see another messy mama on TV. That is not given and it's never been entertaining. And we don't want to try to continue to make that a thing. Carlos, stop it. So then she says he feels she should show more of her and Ross and the girls with the girls more. Okay, should Ross be on the show more? Yes, that's her husband, so I can see that happening. But Ross ain't never damn there. Ross want to have a baby with her, but he ain't never there. You want to get rid of her family, but you want to, do you think that she gonna still be able to be going doing iFit and this and traveling all over? Where's little Deuce gonna go? How many nannies y'all gonna have to interview? And while you want to sit up here and have an alliance with Marlo, Marlo sends her children, her nephews away. So don't expect to have her as an extra babysitter on hand. And she can't recommend none to you either. You might want to go on over here and nurture that relationship with Kandi. I'm just saying, because that's gonna be the only one that's really gonna hurt her and Kenya, because they're gonna be the only ones that's gonna be able to help you by how to get some proper care for your damn child when your sister and her leeching ass husband move out of that house. So moving on, the last question he asked, who would she want casted around her? She says she would want, of course, herself, Sheree, Marlo, Portia, and Phaedra to come back on the show. And she adds Claudia. Now, she says she would like to have Phaedra because she feels like she's a hoot and she would bring a lot of fun. And she wouldn't bring Kandi and Kenya back right now, but she would bring them back in season 20. First of all, look here a little bit. What make you think you're gonna be here next season? Cause you might want to be holding tight to your peach while you trying to talk about recasting. I don't understand why everybody want to kick Kandi off the show. Everybody is not going to have turmoil and drama in their life every single season. Let somebody else do it. If one of y'all is being, at least one of y'all are being honest about what's going on in your life. Let's say Drew had came up with this whole divorce situation at the beginning of the season. That would have been the focal point of the entire season, not Kandi and Marlo. And that wouldn't have been Kandi carrying the season. And why does Kandi have to carry the season every single time? What do y'all want her to do? She lost AJ on the show. She had her kids on the show. She lost her mother-in-law on the show. She met Todd on the show. She got married on the show, opened her restaurants on the show, argued with her mama on the show, sent Riley. Riley grew up and went off to college on the show. She's had several spinoffs from the show, SWV and Escape. Kandi in the Game, Kandi's Wedding, Kandi's Ski Trip. She's had all of these things to go on because of her carrying this show. Now y'all want to sit up here and condemn her for not being activated? And what do you think you need to do to activate somebody? Marlo, what have you done? Sanya, what have you done? Besides show us that your sister ain't show up to do your, clean up them edges a couple times when she was supposed to, and that Ross want to have a baby, but you really don't, and that your son bad as hell, and that you got all your family members living in your house. Like, what have you really shown outside of that? Now, that may be your reality, but is that enough to carry a show while you want to cast all these other people around you? What makes you think you should stay? But y'all, I just wanted to come on and talk to y'all about this daggone interview because I just feel like Monyetta is full of shish. She really, I mean, not Monyetta. Sanya is full of shish, and Sanya. Listen, I don't see it for you. You're such a you're very much. It's very much given try hard opportunist, and my thing is, you went on a whole vacation with Kandi. You said that y'all are, you didn't know that y'all relationship was that deep for you to defend Kandi. Why is your relationship so deep with Marlo that you defended her? But you said you getting to know everybody on the cast, but you closest to Kandi and Marlo. So why isn't it deep enough for your friendships with both of them where you couldn't help to dispel all of that foolishness and tell Marlo she was wrong? Mind you, why don't you have a stance on the situation? Because the reality is, it's crazy. All of this stuff that's going on with Kandi and Marlo is absolutely insane. It's crazy. We don't want to see it no more. It's tired and delayed. It's not entertaining because it doesn't make any sense. Marlo, if you had a problem with Kandi and how she handled your nephew's funeral, you should have said something to her a long time ago. Just for you to bring it up right now just shows us, it sheds more light on the fact of how much you really didn't care about this nephew. You don't give a fuck about your nephew, in my opinion, because anybody that gave a damn about their nephew, you would have dealt with that situation a long time ago. And everything that you're saying wouldn't directly deal with how much money somebody was spending on something. And you would have shown your appreciation for Kandi in situations where she was going through something. Did you send like I said, did you send flowers to Todd's mama's funeral? Did you pay for the catering? Did you send some flowers to Kandi's nephew when he got shot? No, you didn't. You're using something that happened to him to talk about you. Kandi was sending cash apps to your nephews for their birthdays and all this stuff, and you sent them away. So, excuse me if I notice that you want other people to care more about your family members than you do. It don't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense. And I see Demetria Glenn, you says, Shay, be sweet on Lil Deuce. We love the kids. Listen, I do. I think he is a handsome, that is the cutest little boy. But he is bad as hell. Okay. My son too. Look, y'all know y'all heard him thumping on the damn floor of his room right above my office. I done heard him jumping all around. Long as I don't hear him crying, I guess it's safe. Okay, but listen, the little boy is bad. Okay, that's what I done seen. That's her reality. That's what she done shown us. Okay, but he is adorable, very smart too. Okay, but y'all, that's all I got to say about Sanya and her flip floppery. Listen, Sanya, you chose the wrong side. If you had to choose a side, you didn't choose the right one. You're not being neutral in this situation. And if you're trying to be friends with everybody, it's okay to be a true friend and to be honest with your friends and tell them, you know what? You're wrong. And if you can't tell your friends that they're wrong, that's not your friend. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for watching. Please, please, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with anybody else that saw that interview too. And I will see y'all tonight for my review of Sisters Season 6, Episode 3. All right, y'all. See you in the next one. Peace out.